All right, hey everybody, this is Leah, Family Heritage Living, and it is March 23rd. I've done this video once already today, and for some reason, it's not that cold out, but my camera acted like it was, and what it does when it's really cold out and I do something outside and it doesn't like it, is it records, and all of a sudden the screen goes green, and then it just like deletes that video. I was so mad because I was all but done. But at any rate, this will not go up until tomorrow because I did a different video for today. After that one didn't work, I had to walk away from it. Tonight officially at 12:01, our state of Michigan goes into governor enforced lockdown. And of course, for you that are in states that are in lockdown currently, you know what that means is that you may leave your property or your home for essential purposes only. All non-essential employees of any business are not to be working, and the businesses are to be closed if they're not essential. I want to stress here a couple things. First off, I know that a lot of our viewers are Christians, and I know a lot of our viewers are not Christians. As a Christian myself, I express the importance of, first off, remembering and knowing that our God is bigger than anything that is happening, okay? Just because I feel this way and my family feels this way, that we need to look at this seriously, that this is a true pandemic and this is a true emergency, does not mean that I do not have faith in God, okay? It does not mean that I fear every moment of the day. It doesn't mean that I think I can give myself one day further or more, or anybody in my family one day more than what God has already ordained. For those of you that know us, and many of you know us well, know that, you know, our first thought is God, and our trust is in Him, and our faith is in Him. And we have a principle, and I've said it before, that the old saying is, you can be so earthly minded, you're no heavenly good. We don't want to be that way, but nor do we want to be so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. The Lord Jesus walked on this earth, and He was able to communicate with people because He understood that His creation was flesh. All right, His creation was here in the moment, and at times the moment required us to deal with things here on this earth. If we were supposed to be so spiritual every second of the day, or if we were supposed to be able to handle things so spiritually every second of the day, we wouldn't need God, would we? And that's just not the reality. So here I am, and I'm saying that, yeah, you know what? This is a time unprecedented of any time in our lifetime, but it's not the first time that our world has faced it, all right? The last time our world has faced something like this to this proportion and magnitude was 1918 Spanish influenza. We know that it was during the World War. It lasted from 1918 to 1919, and because it came in waves, because our men were returning from the war all over the world, 650,000 Americans died. Millions of people died worldwide. Few families were not touched in some way by this. And the reality is it's a lot like the coronavirus, okay? My point is this is what we have to deal with right now. And we're kind of, why it's so significant in our lifetime is because we live in a very arrogant generation. We live in a very arrogant culture, and we've dismissed God from the equation, and we've thought we've had it all wrapped up either within ourselves or within our governments being able to handle these things. And this is an opportunity. I mean, this is such an awesome opportunity to pray that the world will get focused on God again, because we've kicked Him out of so much. And does that mean that, you know, Christians aren't going to get it or aren't going to die? No. Come on. Let's be real, okay? What it does mean is that there's a harvest ready to be ripened. We have the opportunity to reach out and to give people hope and encouragement. We have the opportunity to say, you know what? I understand your fears. You know, Christ didn't weep in the garden because He was so ultra spiritual. He was fully God yet fully man, and He felt the fears. Well, I think most of us feel the fears. Nobody wants to see our loved ones hurt. I mean, you know, it's one thing if we pass on. It's another if our loved ones get it and stand the possibility of passing on. you know, we have to be considerate too of our community. We may not be susceptible. We may not be, you know, a high casualty percentage, but our neighbors could be. And the longer that we fight this thing progresses, and the more people will be harmed due to it. So we're abiding by the lockdown. We have been. I mean, we really have been beforehand, because we saw this coming weeks and weeks and weeks ago. And that's not to be arrogant. That's just to say that we didn't see it as nothing minor. We saw it as something major. And because we were watching, we were listening to the pathologists, we were listening to the infectious disease doctors. We were not listening to those that are supposed to be at the top of their field in this, that were saying it's no big deal, because things didn't look like it wasn't a big deal. Things were not playing out that way. And we just felt that the Lord was telling us something. Not to be afraid, but to be proactive. You know, if we're not proactive, we're reactive. And that's in anything in our life. That's in relationships. That's in, you know, how we respond to stress situations. And we need to be proactive and discerning. Now, does that mean that I'm judging anyone that doesn't think this is a major ordeal? No, I'm not. I'm not. I understand. If you are just totally cool with it and you think it's not a big deal, I know people like that, people I'm close to, and that's their perception of it, and that's totally fine. But whether you agree that it's a big deal or not, this lockdown that's going on in many states and it's being considered nationwide is something you have to adhere to. And if you have to adhere to it, that means you're going to deal with a lot of the things that the people that are think that it's a big deal are dealing with. And that could be anywhere from food shortages to toilet paper shortages to the mental taxation of not being able to just go do whatever you want to do, because we've had such freedom, especially in the U.S., for so long that we take it for granted. When this happened back in 1918, I'm not saying that the coronavirus 2 and the Spanish flu are the exact same thing, but what I'm saying is they both were upper respiratory. All right, they were both SARS type virus, and it caused a wave of deaths and illnesses that had very high R0 in the Spanish flu, just like it does today. But the difference is there was a great faith in God's sovereignty back then, as well as a patriotism that I believe people reacted in a way that, there wasn't a lot of naysayers as much as there was, we're going to get through this and we're going to get through it together. Does that mean everybody was Christians back then? No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that God was allowed a lot more in our culture then. And it was easier to fall back on him and have faith in him than it is today. I guess my thing, this wasn't how the first video went, by the way. We just need to, we need to stand together, and we need to be in prayer for our country and our world. And we need to find that positive point here, and I believe that's to turn culture that rejects the Lord back to him, because a lot of people are really suffering. I mean, if jobs are lost, which they are, people are going hungry, children are going hungry, child abuse is back on the rise because people don't know how to handle being at home, and nor do they know how to handle being at home with their kids. And also there's a great stress from from finances. We need God. People need God, and that doesn't make everything perfect, but when you have a place to go to that you feel is your strength, when you feel you don't have any, you don't have any, that sure can get you through the hard times. And we have to realize that even if You're not somebody that sees this as being a true pandemic or being truly any worse than the flu. A lot of people out there are. And it's an opportunity, if you're a Christian, to reach those people, to meet them where they're at in their emotion, and to give them the comfort that only we as Christians know exist. So I guess that's my preaching for today. So when I post this tomorrow, we will have been officially started lockdown, and we will see. You know, a lot of stupid youth out there sneezing and coughing all over produce and filming it and sending it out onto the social websites. It just, to me, it just spews the arrogance of this world. You know, youth is stupid. I mean, youth is, but youth wasn't always arrogant. Youth had respect, and we need to realize that this is an opportunity in our lifetime like no other. So, all right, well, y'all stay safe. You know, remember, it's not just you. It's your family or your neighbors, and the sooner we get this thing toned down, the better off we're all going to be. We will talk later. God bless.